Good. Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Was there traffic was there a lot of traffic coming home?
Was there any traffic coming home?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Okay. And you didn't get lost getting to the studio?
You know what? I just realized yesterday it's a straight shot.
Yeah, it is.
I never noticed until today.
It's always a straight shot when using a toll road.
Of course, and that's what I do. Then I get surprised when I see some $20 on the.
I had to get used to it when I first came from Maryland because we only have, remember, 270 and
Yeah.
$4.95.
But the thing is, here is like they get you $1 something, but there's a whole bunch of them.
It adds up. It adds up. And I guess I see why it's a big state.
It is. It is.
I had to get used to it.
I love it though.
It's different.
Yep.
It's different.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a good Sunday. Tomorrow is Memorial Day.
Yep.
A lot of celebrations going on there.
Oh, cookouts.
Cookouts. I remember those.
Wow. We've come a long way.
Came a long way.
Wow.
So, yeah, what's going on? Mom?
Am I mom? Am I CEO? Am I what am I today?
I don't know. What's your favorite title?
Introduce yourself. Yeah, we want to know what your title is.
Well, is there a theme? Is there because I wear many hats. I'm a mom. I'm a CEO. I'm an entrepreneur. So it depends on where I am and what I'm doing. What am I doing?
So, what's your favorite one? What's your favorite one?
Mom CEO.
Mom CEO.
I like that. You should copyright that. Is it copyright? What is it?
Yeah, copyright. Trademark?
Yeah, trademark it. That's what I was looking for.
Oh.
Mom CEO.
Yeah. Or maybe Rich Mommy.
Rich Mommy. So yeah, this is different because I have to talk to you from a different perspective. I put you in the chair. You're not my mom today. You're not our mom today. You're a very special guest to the Such as Life podcast, and I guess we'll start it off since you asked a very good question. Which is it? What bucket are you wearing today? So that was a good way to start this. And so I'll say, before I give you your flowers, I'll make you, like you said, introduce yourself, and I'll ask you who is Haphen.
Well, before I answer that, I don't think I'm wearing a bucket, but maybe a hat.
Many hats.
Many hats. Just pulling your leg. And I'm going to be doing that to you too because I'm on your podcast. And you know my son today, right?
Right. Not today.
I've watched some of the stuff that you guys watch, and they get hard, So when I try to imitate that, and then my English runs away, then I'll come back.
I like that.
But Haphen, that's a good question. Nobody has really asked me that. I probably have to sit back and think, because I'm a mom. I'm a business person. I'm a mom first. I love being a mom to the boys, to your boys, and to the dogs.
Yep.
To the community. And I've never met a stranger in my life. Anytime I meet anybody and everybody, it feels like I've met them before. Nice, bad, sweet people, whoever I meet. So I would say I'm just a very I'm a unique person, my own person, but born and bred in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Came to the US in 1998 and went to school at the University of Maryland, went to the University of District of Columbia, went to Frederick Community College, not in that order, but went to different schools, tried almost everything, was talking to the kids the other day, did a master's in financial management and information systems. I have an associate's in arts. I have an associate's in administration. I tried astrology. I did computer engineering. I did a whole bunch of stuff in my life. And then today, when I look back, Haphen is just a mom who is helping the community, mom of 3 boys, owner of a non-profit, owner of a whole bunch of other businesses. I have a beautiful daughter-in-law, a beautiful other daughter-in-law in incoming. Beautiful things. That's who I am. It's kind of
that sounds
kind
great,
of hard
yeah.
to kind of
Yeah,
like
yes,
really
yes,
narrow
yeah.
it down.
It was
because-
yes, it was it would need probably 7 podcasts just to to break it down. I like that. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
you know.
but I didn't. It's kind of a hard question. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a vague question too, but it's also a deep question. Yes.
Yeah, because it made me think.
Made you think. That's
Because
true.
nobody really has. I don't know that
Mhm.
anybody has asked
Right.
me that way.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we could take it back to you mentioned we from Zimbabwe. What city were you born in Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe, Africa.
It's called Mazoe.
Masaru. Okay.
Mhm. Named after. They used to grow oranges, so it was a citrus farm. So Mazoe oranges is big, huge over there. So that little town
Mhm.
is called Mazoe.
Yeah, being from there too, I remember that too. Masaru. When I hear of that, I remember. Just think of orange juice. I mean, real orange
It was
juice,
so good.
fresh. I know, right?
Oh Lord, when you're on the bus and the bus would stop there and you
Mm.
buy a little cup. Oh, it was refreshing.
It was like you just drank it straight from the tree.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember like it was yesterday. It was very good and fresh, juice, and that's what the city was known for, producing the freshest. That was the source of the.
Wait,
I
so
think for the entire country.
was
oranges.
always named after that city?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
city is named after
Who
Masaru,
came first, the
whichever,
chicken
yeah.
or the egg?
And Masaru is
Exactly.
M-A-Z. That's another funny thing is the translation between languages.
Mhm.
Masaru is named. I mean, it's spelled M-A-Z-O-E without a W, right?
Right.
Mhm.
But when you hear it, when you think of it from an English perspective, English language,
yeah.
you think of M-A-Z-O-W-E.
Mhm.
Well, or maybe it's the other way around because we were colonized by the British.
Mm-hmm.
Before they came, it was Mazowe
Mm.
because a lot of spellings changed,
Right.
and then it became Mazoe, which
Okay.
is like Mazo.
So it changed over time. I've always
Right.
wondered that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I were
Mm.
to read it, it would be Mazoe because we have A-E-I-O-U, not A-E-I-O-U.
Yeah.
But
That's universal too. I'm glad you mentioned that. It's not. It's yeah. The way the vowels, the sound.
Yeah.
It's A-E-I-O-U, but the letters are pretty much the same everywhere.
yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that is.
Mhm.
cool.
Languages. I mean, even from the Bible times of medieval times, things always translate.
Yes.
Mhm.
Things don't change, and they just change how how you approach things, how you say it. Just translation,
Yeah.
but it's still the same thing.
Mhm.
Actually, imagine when like Marlon, he
Mhm.
never tasted the Mazoe that we tasted, and I imagine even his children or you guys' children and children's children,
Mhm.
some of the words we are using now, by the time they are born, they're not going to be existent.
They're not gonna be existent, yeah.
Yeah.
And every day passes, it's
Something
history
new.
in the making.
Yeah.
So whatever happens today is it's going to the history books. It's pushing it. That's the beauty of life. Such is life.
That
Such
is
is life.
life.
So it's interesting because so every mark you make on this earth, everything you do, it plays a part on how
Absolutely.
that's why we have the Shakespeare's, the
Mhm.
Benjamin
Oh,
Franklin's. At the time, they didn't even know they were making a big difference. They were just going on about their lives. They didn't know that yes, from now I'm gonna be remembered as this person, or people will be
Yeah.
You saying that is actually very interesting because did you hear about Martin Luther King?
what did happen to
about-
Martin Luther King?
They said that apparently he's not a great person. Someone said in the community he's not
I
a great
heard
person
that.
Mm.
because they said he cheated on his wife.
Oh.
But they're also saying that the FBI was claiming that they were creating stories because they didn't want Martin Luther King to be who he is today. So there's no evidence that he actually cheated, but it's now a new movement that he cheated on his wife and he's not a good person and he shouldn't deserve his flowers. So
And then that tarnishes his whole brand.
yeah, it tarnishes his whole legacy. Yeah.
Oh
So
my.
is this oral history where the stories are told and then they are told? Do you know we used to do that exercise? I used to be a teacher too, by the way.
Okay, I was getting to that, but yeah, you can go ahead.
Oh, okay.
have
So
it in
I
my
don't want to
notes.
jump the gun. I'll
No,
wait
it's
for
okay.
you.
It's okay.
But-
We can talk about that.
But you know, this is so much fun. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because you brought up something very interesting when you talked about playwrights and Shakespeare, and you guys on your vlog,
Mhm.
I heard you play like something like the playwrights. And
Oh yeah.
when I went to school, you know, in Zimbabwe, we used to go to like Form 4, Form 5, Form 6. We had 6 years in high school.
Mhm.
So in which is equivalent to an associate here.
Mhm.
I studied Xhosa,
Okay.
and a lot of you. Do you know Xhosa, Marlon?
No.
Actually, I don't even know what just is it a language?
It's like it's a playwright, almost like Shakespeare.
Oh, it's a person.
Yeah, he wrote like Shakespeare,
Okay.
but the English. So when you can Google it later. The English was way harder.
Mhm.
So it's like language keeps changing
Mhm.
and changing. And I just thought about it when you talked about Shakespeare, because
Yeah.
even some of the words, like there are some words that never even existed in my language, like car,
Mhm.
because back then, back way back, there were no cars.
Yeah.
So when a car came, when they said motor car, because that's what they used to call
Oh
it,
yeah, yeah.
then the people, the local people, the natives couldn't say motor car, then they called it motikari.
Okay.
So now there's motkari.
Yeah.
And motkari means motor car, which is a car. So now there's a word called motkari in their alphabet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, is it an alphabet? No.
Dictionary. I
The
guess?
dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
maybe,
It's
I don't know.
I said,
I don't know.
I said
Which one?
dictionary.
Yeah. You know, it's now that you mentioned that with I think in our language Shona, which is one of our languages from Zimbabwe, motokari would not be considered as a correct word, right? It's almost like how they call urban dictionary here.
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
make
yeah.
up a word.
Oh yeah, like slang or something.
like slang or something
Yeah.
like that. You know, it's not.
You're correct.
It wouldn't be
sta-
considered.
It
It's almost-
started
it's a
like
derived-
that,
Yeah.
but now it's actually an official
So
word,
it's an official word,
because
okay.
there's no other native word,
Word for it.
that. Like, you know,
Okay.
people in the village
Uh-huh.
who are not familiar with the English language.
Mhm.
And by the way, which is another interesting fact, English is the first language
Right.
in Zimbabwe. That's the official language.
Mhm.
Because we're colonized by the British, and we
Right.
are one of the youngest countries in Africa, because we're colonized from 1890 to 1980. That's how many years? 100?
That's 100.
That's 100 years.
So we kind of evolved from our own language to English, but there's still people who never. It's also, it used to be the most educated country in Africa. I don't know about now the statistics. Educated by way of people, lots of people having master's degrees and just walking the streets, because all they do is go to school. But yeah, that's interesting that it's now part of the dictionary, because that word never even existed. Quite a few words. And it's amazing because I watch Korean movies and Chinese movies, and they can say a whole sentence in their language. I cannot, because I don't have enough vocabulary in my language to say. And it's interesting too that for the most part I think in English, even when I'm speaking my language. So I think in English, then I convey it in my language.
Your language, yeah.
And
Yeah.
even with
And that's
that,
yeah.
I cannot say a full sentence.
That's something. That's one challenge I used to have even when I first moved here, because I guess that's what they call the language barrier.
Yeah.
Because everything. I mean, even I can say up to these days, there's certain. I try to translate everything in the way I understand it, but not everything actually lines up or aligns with how you would say structurally, you know, from a different language. And that's another amazing thing. That's you know.
Right.
So if we really translate everything directly, I know we contradicting ourselves, saying everything translate. I mean, not really, but it's like, there's certain things grammatically it doesn't make sense if you try to say it the same exact way. That's it's amazing. That's beauty. But the English language, man, it's universal. I know why you're laughing.
Why?
Because I know we talked about the British. That's a subject for another show. But British history. English just is English.
Marlon has his own opinion.
No, it's something we always talk about. You talk about colonize.
Colonizing.
The British really colonized the world to a certain extent, right?
To a certain extent.
That's why the English language is so up to this day is so widespread.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so big that it was way ahead of time, that even at the stature that we are right now, it would take time to make another language. Even they did it so much that it overpowered
systemized it.
Yeah, systemized it to a certain extent. So that's why I was laughing, because we always talk about this with him, and he has his own opinions, like you said, about it.
The Queen.
About the Queen and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but their structure,
We just talk about it's interesting how England's influence like almost the whole world, even America, because everyone says America influences everything, but we're influenced by England.
England was the first. Yeah,
they were the first.
So you were the one in college, and also was America colonized by the British as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
then, just like we were.
Yeah. Well, it's different though. In America, it's more so of we're not actually like you guys are natives. We're not the natives. We're kind of the British ourselves that are separate from the British.
Oh.
So you guys were already there, and British came and colonized. America. There was already Native Americans in Oklahoma, those tribes, they were already here. And then the British colonized and kicked them out, and now it's a bunch of people who are offsprings of the British.
And by you guys, you mean Africa or?
Yeah, Africa. Yeah, Africa was native. So we were, because I'm African too. So Africa was native, and England colonized Africa. But then with America, majority, is the population majority is white race?
That's what they say. That's right? What I mean. I would have to research it, but it says in the world, right?
Yeah. No. In US.
Oh, in the US. Yes, in the
they're
US.
They're majority white.
They say the majority is white. Yeah, but that's
Yeah, but the thing is, they're actually not native to America. It's the Native Americans in Oklahoma and those areas. There's some in Arizona, I want to say, but they're the natives. But they actually just came and colonized the entire country.
Yeah.
So they're not native like you guys have, where you guys were, your ancestors were in that land. Everyone comes from Africa anyways, but your ancestors are from Africa. A lot of people here that are born here, especially in the majority, their ancestors were in England and all those countries in Europe.
So there's a new, it's quite interesting. So with you, Marlon, being born here, me being born in Zimbabwe, that's a whole new generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then your children and their children. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So at some point, it's all going to be lost.
It's all going to be lost. America's one melt. That's why they call it big melting pot, because it's a bunch of different races all just, losing their culture in America.
Well, at least I know my grandpa, my great-grandpa, I know where I originated from.
Yeah.
We have something called Mutupo. So there's deeper ancestral in original things that I know, which is why sometimes I always talk about how even the Bible, some of the stuff was lost in translation, because we have idioms and proverbs, and when I try to translate that to the English language, we have no words for it. So we do the best, what we think is the closest, but it totally changes the meaning of the words.
Yeah, especially right now too. I mean, it's there's a lot of mix. I like how you said, the generation. This is just a mix of generational mix.
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
in the United States.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day. There's a lot of different races in here. I mean, different cultures, different people from different countries.
Yeah.
It's and it's amazing when you meet somebody and they say, I'm half German, I'm half Italian, half French, half
Yeah,
So
it's like
it's
half 100 things.
yeah, other things. And now it's good. It's good though. I mean, I think it's it's a world in harmony. It's a good
I
time to
think
be alive,
I think honestly
it opens
the
up
way
a lot of
the way the world is going right now, that's
Mhm.
kind of how it's meant to play out with everybody meeting each other. Back then it was harder because
So
we didn't
much
have
division.
planes, we didn't have trains, we didn't have cars, so you guys kind of stuck to your family. That's
Family,
why
yeah.
most people, like in Africa, you like even said like it's a huge family and you guys
Yeah.
all know each other and everything.
Yeah.
But now we have the means to go over there if I want to
Mhm.
go over there. And then
Mhm.
when you go over there, some of their culture is going to be on you and some of your culture is going to be on them. And now
Mhm.
you're meshing together and
Yeah.
it's a whole new culture. So, and there's actually a movement right now going on. A lot of people who are African American because I'm first generation, but people who are like way into their generations that
Mhm.
are not, they're trying to figure out their roots now. They're actually trying to go back home to Africa and figure out where am I from.
I see that a lot. Yeah.
And you know what's interesting too? My mom went to Zimbabwe and she I've never seen them, but she saw a Chinese Zimbabwean.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Chinese
Africans,
Asian Africans, and it's interesting seeing an African a dark Chinese person, cute little baby with cute little eyes, and then and also there's Caucasians there who were born and bred, and you ask them where you're from, they speak my language better than I do because they were born there and they stay there, and they don't even know anybody in the UK or in England or they don't know anything about Europe because they were born over there.
Especially for us too, it's not as wide, or at least it wasn't as widespread as it is here in the United States, where you have different cultures mixing. We're always used to being birds of a feather flock together. We're used to marry our own kind and just be on kind. So when we see that division or that change, that division was so much division at the time, but now we see that change. That's new to us.
Right.
It was even as bad, not bad, but it was back then. It was just tribes. Actually, seeing two tribes, different tribes
intermarrying.
Intermarrying. That was like, whoa, what's going on here? But now it's
because Zimbabwe is primarily two tribes.
Two tribes, yeah.
Other African countries, like I know in Nigeria, there's over 200 tribes.
Yeah.
In Zimbabwe, it's primarily just two. So we were just that. But wow.
Yeah. Speaking of family too, you have how many siblings? You have 4 or 5 siblings. I should know this.
4 siblings. There was 5 of us and one died, so I have 3 sisters and myself. 3? 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
And was it like growing up all girls?
I think it was fun. We were really close. We're still very close.
Yeah.
And there was only one boy.
Yeah.
So he was pretty much very spoiled. My mom was a very tough woman. So we always had to do our chores and all. So we stuck together and, so we were very close.
Yeah.
And our dad, girls gravitate to their fathers a lot.
Yeah.
He was a very soft, kind-hearted person. So they complemented each other a lot. Mom was the disciplinarian. Dad was the no, don't do that. So we love that about my family. We're just a very, we love.
Yeah, that's true. Girls do gravitate more towards their fathers.
Yeah.
Yeah, mom or that daddy's girl, I think. Yeah. That's what they say.
So yeah, that's very true. And then so you'll be the 4th child in the family, right?
Well, originally my mom had the first child, and that child died on her lap. So I mean, it was on my dad's lap in the hospital. So that baby never even made it. So I didn't even count that one. And interestingly, that gave my dad the phobia of holding babies. He never really held a baby straight from the hospital. I think he blamed himself all his life, thinking when he touches the baby's gonna die. I don't know, but that was the first child. And then my sister and then me. So that would make me the third if that baby had survived. But then, because they didn't survive, I'm the second.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you're the second oldest.
Oh, it makes sense. I should have known that. Again.
So since it's all girls, and you had all boys, right? Because I have two older
Oh yeah, I have
siblings.
3 boys.
Yeah.
3 boys.
It's fun. I love that.
I was gonna say what it's like to be a boy mother.
Mom, yeah.
Yeah.
Boys actually, in as much as the bigs, I call the bigs, the 2 ones, used to be feisty, you know, and the little one has always been Malo London. But boys actually, from what I hear, they love mom. They take care of mom. Girls take care of dad, I guess. I don't know. We might have to ask Lauren one day, but
Seems about right.
yeah.
Seems about right.
It's actually, and I don't know, because I never experienced raising a girl, but from what I hear from people, it's a little, every child is different, but it's a little less challenging as far as mood swings and just the kind of attention, because boys are very independent.
Right.
But when it comes to shopping, oh my lord, boys are annoying to shop for. They are
Really? I think it's easier for boys just buy
Right.
them, a couple of things at
No,
Walmart and they're satisfied.
their clothes are expensive for the most part.
Boys?
Nowadays, it's a little better. Back then, the clothes are kind of ugly. They're expensive.
I thought girls' clothes were expensive.
Me too. I thought girls spend a lot of money on clothes.
Yeah.
I think
Because
girls'
we can wear the
clothes-
same. I've been wearing this shirt for 5 days now.
girls' clothes are pretty, and it's, I don't know. I'm just talking about, again,
Yeah,
I
I know, I
never
get
raised
it.
girls,
Yeah.
but I know friends with girls. When I went to shop, and that's another thing. Maybe I'm basing this on my own experience. Somebody may have their own opinion, but when I went to shop for friends, like if they had a birthday or something, I could walk in and walk out with very pretty things. Boys, I'll touch this and it looks like scotch. I don't know what you call that color.
Yeah.
And this, and I'm like, oh. But yeah, it's not fun to shop for boys, for me at least. But that's all I had, and I loved it. I still love that I had boys, and I'm even more excited that now my daughters-in-law would be my girls.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah.
And then you were a young mom too at one point.
Oh,
I always say young, but
young is understatement. That's an understatement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How actually, before we even go to that, how were you as a child? What? Yeah, we can take it back to middle school.
Yeah, middle school.
What kind of kid were you? Were you mischievous?
What
Or
is
you-
middle school?
That's a good question.
In Zimbabwe,
How
we
old
have
is,
we have
middle school?
elementary school and high school and college.
Middle school's 12 to 13 or 11 to 13.
Yeah, about 11-year-old. What would the 11-year-old mom be like? Back,
I remember more younger
Uh-huh.
and older than in between. And
Okay.
But in one word, I guess, bad, but in a
Bad.
good way.
Yeah,
I was just, I would say mischievous.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you were not a princess. Were you more of a?
No, that's the crazy thing, and that's where I have to catch myself when I deal with girls, because I was a tomboy. Maybe that's what you'd call
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because when my
So
dad
you
went
liked- yeah.
under the car to fix the
Yeah.
car, I would roll down there with him, and my mom would come and pull my leg, because he would say, and we wore dresses, we never wore pants.
Yeah.
So she's like, what are you doing? Girls don't do that, and pull me out of there.
So you were the more like the instigator.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do remember in pre-K drawing little atoms, because I loved chemistry. So I would draw little circles, and then I would draw atoms before even I went to school. I loved to study. I loved to be around my dad. I was very intellectual.
Okay. Did you have a specific field that you were interested in as a young? When you were young, you talked about astronomy just now, and you mentioned which we'll get to. Of course, we know you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So
Not that I knew at the time, but I was always interested in chemistry, and I was curious.
yeah.
And so they called me doctor.
Okay.
So the they called Prime Minister, President of Malawi was called Kamuzu Banda, and his nickname was Ngwazi, which means the wise one.
Okay.
So they used to call me Dr. Ngwazi
Oh, yeah.
because they said I was the wise one because I was super smart. I was intelligent even before I went to school.
Okay.
And they called me that. But I don't think I ever wanted to be a doctor because I don't think I knew that. But at some point, somewhere along the lines, I wanted to be an attorney.
Oh, okay.
And then found out that it's a lot of studying. Then I decided to do computer engineering sometime later down the road.
Okay.
And then did a whole bunch of other different stuff. Weird
Just very different.
story
They're all
of
different.
another day. Yeah.
They're different, you know.
Different.
You would,
And you know the saying, sorry, didn't
Go
mean
ahead.
to cut you off, this
No, it's all right.
saying that they say Jack of all trades, master of none, doesn't apply to me.
Okay.
Jack of all trades, master of all.
Uh-huh.
I try something, I master it. I
That's
can
good.
master a whole bunch of stuff. And not saying this from I'm saying this from a humble perspective because I really am
No, I understand
thankful
what you
for
mean.
that. Because whenever I put my mind to something, and I can wear multiple hats,
Okay.
and I'm very, very thankful for that.
That's good.
Yeah.
And when you were a teacher, what did you teach? What subjects did you teach?
We had this conversation the other day. Were you
Yeah.
there, Mom?
Yeah, we were talking about this.
I was talking to my accountant, and I told him when I went to college, I graduated from education with my degree in education in Zimbabwe, actually. And so there I did at first I was studying to be an architecture, and I did technical graphics,
Okay.
but I'm super short.
I remember
I'm 5
technical
foot.
graphics.
Yeah, I'm 5 foot. So we had to carry this big, huge drawing board, and it was heavy, and I'm short, and it was uncomfortable. So that was the reason for me dropping off from technical graphics.
Yeah.
And then I ended up doing commerce, economics. They used to call it commerce, economics, and accounting. And then I did English literature, and then I did also a teacher's degree, and I studied psychology, sociology, and philosophy.
Wow.
Wow.
So I remember technical graphics. Going back on that, that was one of the. It was an interesting subject because it was very. At the time, it was known to be inexpensive. Well, it required a lot of tools.
Yes.
And then I remember even when I was still there, I used to, my parents, mom, they were already here in the United States, and every time we went every grade. As advanced, the equipment kept getting expensive because
Yeah.
You use this tool with this grade, use the next one. This one requires the next one.
Wow.
And I was blessed because my parents were already in the United States, so it was still even for U.S. standards, it was still pricey, but it was a lot. It was a lot cheaper getting it from here.
Yeah.
And getting it from back home.
I know even my textbooks, my aunt went to the UK when we were, it was really like we could not even it was just an imagination. Where's the UK?
Yeah.
And she used to send me textbooks from there.
Right.
And because we had been colonized by the British, like in accounting, it was kind of the same. But when I came to the US, everything is flipped. Even like driving, you drive on the other side of the road and the other.
Yeah.
But after graduating as a teacher, I was a high school teacher actually. So I
Okay.
taught accounting, English literature, economics, and commerce.
It's interesting. That's good. And then with the so in high school you did play sports too, right? We're not gonna skip that. Tennis.
Yes.
I'm trying my best here to play,
Lawn
Jeopardy because I think
tennis.
there's a few things I know.
Yep.
You play tennis.
Yep.
So okay.
Lawn tennis and table tennis.
I forgot. There's concrete tennis. Or no, what is it? Yeah, it is concrete.
Yeah.
That's the only one. That's the one they're playing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you play lawn tennis. Somebody else in your family did though, right? No, it was just you.
My dad did everything and anything. If you gave him an instrument, it didn't matter if he held the instrument for the first time in his life, he could play it. If you gave him a sporting, it could be roller skates, it could be anything. So he's the other one that I knew would do. You just put him on the soccer field. I don't know how he knew.
Yeah, I have that. not necessarily that but I have that in me too. I'll learn
Yeah.
something new and I get obsessed with it
Yeah.
right there and then.
Yeah.
So it's
All three of you do, because I watch you as you do things, and I'm asking myself in my head, how did you know this? Because Mitch is in IT, like right now he's like an IT guru, but he never went to school for IT, not even his degree is what, business administration? And I've seen Marlon like design a whole accounting software. Like, where did he learn that from? And then when I ask him, he's like, I don't know, I just know. So what I've noticed with you guys is you, Mel, are more of the hardware person when it comes to IT, and Mitch is software. Although you know both, he knows both, but it looks like you're more inclined, because you like to use your hands. You're more inclined to the hardware, and you have the patience to sit there and build things. He doesn't have the patience to sit and build things. So it's more like software, you're more like hardware, and you complement each other, and he's halfway in between. I noticed the other day.
he just calculates the labor that's needed to do the job.
He does both.
Yeah.
He does a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And he set up all our computers, our monitors, our phones. I'm like, I had never seen that side of him. So it's amazing how all three of you have, and you are so much into sport, Mel.
Yeah, I did my fair share of sports.
But growing up in Zimbabwe, sport was like, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a PhD.
Yeah.
So it was like, why are you even doing sport? So you were discouraged because you used to play rugby.
Right.
And I remember Marlon was only 2, and that's the only time he went to Zimbabwe. I don't know. Do you remember anything?
No.
And you've never been back?
No.
You better go, son. You never know what you miss.
I will go.
But you were the captain, the rugby captain.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
you were this tiny. And that amazed me, because there were these big, huge boys, because rugby is almost equivalent to football here. And everybody is like, and you were tiny, but you were the captain. And you all did the haka, which is like the New Zealand war cry
War
kind
cry,
of
yeah,
looking.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, with it's funny with rugby. It's they are more lean than anything, because they don't get as stocky. It's more So it's the same concept. But I remember I can't remember his name. There's this football player who plays for the NFL right now, the National Football League here in the US, and he used to play rugby, and he was talking about that he's not as big as all the other
really?
the NFL players, but he has speed, and he has
That's what you
and
had.
and the funny part about it too is that the protection, we didn't work.
They don't wear anything.
And
Oh.
They just wear shorts and a shirt.
Oh.
we do wear the little
the helmet. But it's not even the helmets we use in here. They use it's like a paper helmet.
But Malvin was really fast,
yeah.
and even at the house.
I was always
when
used
he
to running
was
away.
smaller, and he got in trouble, I could not catch him. You climb on the TV, the table, and he's also lightweight.
Yeah.
And he was just running, jump, and he used to love MC Hammer.
Oh yeah.
You jump on top of the table and start dancing to MC.
I used to dance
Hammer,
a lot.
Hammer time.
Yeah, that was
funny.
my favorite. That was my favorite of all time. At the time, at least. Yeah. I remember those days. And Michael Jackson. I liked Michael Jackson too. I made it a point to learn how to do the
moonwalk.
The moonwalk.
Mm-hmm.
That was that was a highlight. Because back then, at least in my time when I was growing up, for a lot of people, the things that he was doing was just unfound of. It was the biggest artist. He changed the whole music genre, the pop music and stuff.
Oh, Michael Jackson?
Yeah, he was doing some amazing stuff, and I feel like I saw it. I saw him on his. It's almost how people talk about how they got to see Michael Jordan playing.
Yeah.
Or some people are seeing maybe LeBron right now.
Yeah.
Or Stephen Curry, whatever his name
Yeah.
is. But
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry,
Steph Curry.
Yeah. That's the same feeling I had with Michael Jackson. Because I remember. I stayed up one night when he had one of his biggest tours that he had, and back home, at the time TV you only had 2 channels, and I had school the next day, and I used to live with my aunt at the time, and they kept telling me to go to sleep, and I just sneak out into the living room, just my mouth open, and I remember vividly, like it was almost like it was yesterday, and he was he sang the song "We Are the World."
Mm-hmm.
I still remember sitting on the couch there crying, and getting feeling, just feeling the emotional into that song and filled with candles. It's Michael Jackson was something else.
Marlon has his own Michael Jackson moves. He dances like a Caucasian, and he has his own Michael Jackson moves.
Marlon just said this whole thing, this whole Michael Jackson. I don't know.
Michael Jackson's the GOAT.
Thing that just came into him lately.
He's the
He's
GOAT.
just been so into Michael Jackson lately. I don't know.
And
That's,
Kanye.
Yeah.
Kanye's
Oh,
the GOAT.
Kanye, we know.
Oh yeah,
that's
Michael
a whole-
Jackson and Kanye are both the GOATs.
Yeah. It's an interesting mix, but
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. That's incredible. Then so we went to high school, and that's when I guess you had your very first child.
Oh, that's
Incredible, immaculate,
yeah. Oh Lord.
AKA me, by the way.
Oh gosh. So when
so-
I had my first child, it was like taboo because those days you never had a child out of wedlock.
Yeah.
You would be the talk of town,
Mhm.
and my dad was.
And
the
you were still in
principal.
school at the time. Oh, high school. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
mentioned.
I just graduated from high school, graduated from elementary school, which is 7th grade over there, going to high school, which would be equivalent here to 8th grade.
Yeah.
And granted, I was a tomboy, so I was not the kind who would sneak out. My sisters would sneak out and have little boyfriends here and there,
Yeah.
and I was the snitch.
Oh.
Anytime
With a purpose.
yeah, I would report everybody, but I was the first one to get pregnant, and
Right.
it actually happened. It wasn't like I have the boyfriend, and no, it wasn't like that.
So you're the one they least expected to be the first
and
one to
it
have
broke
a
my parents' heart. Like
How
I
was
saw
it?
my father cry for the first time.
How do you even bring that up to your, like, how was that? How did you bring it up to them that you're pregnant?
I kind of didn't, because I wrote a letter, because boarding school is very prestigious in Zimbabwe. It's
Right.
not like here. Boarding school is actually where everybody wants to send their children, because there's better education, quality, and it's not here boarding means
You're in trouble.
there it means you have money. You know,
It's almost like they
this-
do private school here.
Yeah,
Yes,
private school,
yeah,
right?
it is that.
Like an on-campus private school, right?
And you actually go to another. You look forward to it.
Yeah.
They have a list of beautiful
Yeah.
things. They buy you, so you actually work hard so you can go to boarding school. So I went to boarding school. What happened is, like, my parents never drank alcohol, never touched, never smoked, never drank, but my aunts did. So they literally taught me how to drink. They would take me to a hotel, give me candy, make me try. It was called Mainstay, some alcohol thing. So when I went to school, to high school, we experimented on things and drink and stuff. So when I came home, one of the Christmas holidays, the very first Christmas holiday, our parents went to the village, and we refused to go to the village, my sister and I. We stayed at the house. I went to a friend, and their parents drank, smoked. So there was a party, and I drank, and then I had talked to this guy like a couple of times, and then, long story short, I ended up getting drunk, and we just had a baby. And I didn't even know I had a
Doesn't
baby.
sound like, being that I'm the baby doesn't sound satisfying, but I'll take that.
Well, and I didn't
No, I get
even.
it.
The
I
worst
get
part
it.
is
I'm
I
just-
didn't even know I had a baby one. I didn't know this guy very well. I knew him because he worked at my father's school, and we had talked a couple of times. But with me, we just talked, not like about being boyfriend, girlfriend, lovey-dovey. It was more like, hey, you look cute. Leave me alone. We used to run away. Leave me alone and stuff like that. But long story short, I went back to school after Christmas and just went on with my life, and was playing tennis, playing netball, playing sport. But then I started getting overweight and just, throwing up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
But that's something, something very important that comes out of this too. The support system. I'm pretty sure, after, all this happened, you unveiled it to your parents and told them that, you're pregnant and everything. That's when all the support started coming.
well, I got expelled from school because one day we drank. We some friends, the guy we just did bad, went and got red wine. And we sneaked it. We used to go what we call disco. So that was our entertainment. It was a girls only school.
Almost like a club.
No, disco was an event.
It was a girls only school.
Yes.
So they would bring some kind of entertainment for the weekend. So they have some kind of fun.
Yeah.
So they would play music. It was DJ playing some music.
Right.
And the DJ would be just one of the girls.
Yeah.
And so we had disco night and we drank behind the dormitories. And so because I was pregnant, which I didn't know at the time, and I was like, getting a little bigger, people making fun of me saying, oh, you're eating too much beans, because we'd eat beans. We'd eat nutritional
I remember beans.
food.
We used to eat a lot of beans.
Nutritional food. And mom was a nutritionist. So, and then we would do African history, and there was this guy called Lobengula who had a big tummy and a big back, and they would give me that nickname. So it was just, joking around. But I was actually pregnant. So I drank this drink and then I threw up because I was pregnant. And they thought I was throwing up blood because I drank red wine. So they took me to the hospital, Mpilo Hospital, because I went to school in another city.
Right.
Where I had to learn another language too, which brings me to like how many languages I could speak and can speak. So I had to go there, and the first thing they do when a girl throws up is what? Pregnancy test. And there I was, like 6 months pregnant.
Oh
my
so
gosh.
they expelled me, because in Zimbabwe, even as we speak, even when you're in at university, the minute you get pregnant, you get expelled to a place where you can't even, like in high school, you could not, I don't know for sure now, but you could not even get back into the school system.
So it was actually a bad
And
bad
at that
thing
time it was even worse, because it was a bad image. You could girls were courting, they never slept with the guys before they got married. In the village, they even had the aunts making sure that they testing you, looking to make sure that you were still a virgin at some point, because it was very important to get married while a virgin. So it became the embarrassment and talk of the town, dad being a principal, mom a known figure.
That.
So it was very, I think that's why I became really strong, because I was strong, but it made me stronger because I had to withstand all that. And you could not abort either. Even today, abortion is not, because Zimbabwe is very biblical. 99 probably, I don't know the real statistics, and I'm talking back then when I was born. Things have changed, but back then it was almost like 99% Christian. And so biblically you could not abort, because it's like taking a life. So I had to keep
it's amazing you mentioned that about abortion, because that's a very big topic right now. Especially in the
very
United States.
Controversial.
Specifically actually in Texas.
Very big.
Well, but the beautiful thing is that I have the funniest, the most hilarious child out of that. and he was the first, so I did get expelled, got on what they called a lorry, because that was the school
vehicle. Like a truck.
That was the school vehicle.
Bad truck.
And they put me on a bus, and then I had to get on a train to go home. So in the meantime, I wrote a letter to my parents, and I said I did such a bad thing, I can't even face you, so if you don't see me home in the next, because it took like 2-3 days to get home.
Wow.
I'm dead. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna jump in front of the train because I can't face you. So it put them in such a very difficult position, and they kept waiting. I got there. I didn't even have the guts to do that, but I just felt so embarrassed and so bad, and I felt for my dad because I knew what he was going through.
And I can imagine, even you know, as a mom, as a young mom, through this humiliation. I mean, I just try to think of it as a, you know, what 14, 15-year-old or 16-year-old girl today, you know, going through that. Because right now with mental health has always been a thing. But then back then, imagine that you're going through all this, and you know, you live in a culture where you know, you actually did bad by being pregnant. You know, not that to say it's, you know, it's a great thing to be you know, pregnant when you're young or anything. Well, I don't even know. I don't have an opinion on it. But at the same time, it's just it's amazing to see that, you know, you had to go through all this stuff, and how it, like you said, it made you stronger.
And
you know?
I went and stayed at my sister's friend place for a few days. But then at some point I started sneaking in. And tell me if I'm going over. You tell me the time.
Oh no, you're good.
So, and I was at some point I started sneaking into the house, in my mom's house, and I would sleep, and the maid would sneak me out. So I would go in a little late when they had gone to sleep, and then I would sneak out before they woke up. But I got tired, so one day I just overslept, and then the maid, because they wash by hand, they put clothes out to dry. After they dry, they take them and they iron them by hand. They did that at that time, so she figured I had overslept. So she took the clothes that were supposed to be ironed that day, and she banged them on top of me so mom would not see me. So mom walked into the bedroom. They called it a spare bedroom where I was sleeping, and she could, because I was now heavy and tired, and she could, I guess I was breathing like Sierra, like
Sierra's my pet, by the way. Shout out to Sierra.
And she's like, what's that breathing? And then she found me. She just, you know, my mom was tough. My mom could beat you with anything. She picked up a spoon, a brick. She beat me with a brick one time.
A brick?
A brick, and I fainted. And she walked away.
Oh, man.
But at that time, you know, when things happen like that, she could not even beat me. She just looked at me, and she just said, you know what? Talk to your dad. And she went to work. And then when I went into the living room and I'm sitting, and my dad said, you know what? Talk to your aunt. And he laughed. He teared up. He just looked at me and he teared. That's the first time I saw him cry. And then my aunt, his sister, came and they said, well, the only remedy is you get married, because they also, when you have a child out of wedlock, you will look down like it was a bad word, like a bad person. So the only remedy was to get married. And then he didn't even know I was pregnant. He had gone to teachers college. So they had to write a telegram, and his dad was sick at the time, so he thought his father had died. And at that point, I could not even be in my parents' home, because when you're pregnant, your parents were not supposed to see you during the first few trimesters until they paid lobola for you, and they had to pay something that allowed you to see your parents. So they took me to his family's home, and they grew up in the village. I grew up in the city, so that's a whole other podcast for you guys. But he came, and he said there, I said there, my aunt said there with her husband. They said, you guys need to get married because she's pregnant. And we both said at the same time, no. They said, what are you talking about? And then my uncle, I remember even to this day, he had big bulking eyes. He said, why you don't want to get married? You want to be a whore? You want to be, you know, because that's what translated to them. But then I ended up getting married, like beautiful. We didn't have a wedding. The marriage was traditional, but you know, they had their things like where they paid lobola, and I was one of the most expensive brides in the whole wide country those days.
Your parents were taxing.
They did.
That's good. That's amazing.
Which was a little challenging for me, because it meant that I had to be there for a little bit while they are, because I was married like with real cows, because the lobola was like cattle, cows and goats, and it wasn't money. So they had to figure out how to transport those from my from their village to my father's village, who never even stayed in the village, who lived in the city, and make arrangements. So it took a minute for me to go back home, because now I could go see them. Then I went home and
These days they want hard cash.
Yeah.
oh yeah, they put the
Or
equivalent.
Bitcoin.
But there's still
Crypto.
there's still some that you cannot, like the one that's given to your mom for having given birth to you.
Mhm.
That one you cannot substitute. It has to be. They say it's a cow. Talking about translation, Mombe not sika, which means a cow that steps on the ground.
Mhm.
That's literal translation,
Yeah.
but it has to be a real cow,
Right.
a female cow, specific cow, which has no blemishes. Almost
Okay.
like the same thing they do in the Bible.
Mhm.
That's it.
Okay. That's
Wow.
It's a beautiful story.
Yep.
That's interesting. Then fast forward, eventually you come to I'm sure there's a lot that happened in between.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Then you come
Oh,
into the United
yeah.
States, and then what was your first? You were in the banking industry
Mm-hmm.
for the most part when you were in the United
Mhm.
States for the first time, and then yes, you didn't do anything else other than banking, did you?
Not really. Well,
Yeah.
because back then I had to go back to school and start over, kinda, and they had to kinda work with the system. With
Right.
my dad being a principal, it ended up
Right.
working okay.
Right.
So then I became a teacher. Worked at I've done non-profits forever.
Yeah.
So worked for a non-profit, then
Mhm.
came to the US in '98, and then worked in banking. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I remember
in
that.
finance and banking.
I remember the
Pretty
non-profit
much.
SOS. Shout out to
Yes,
SOS.
it
Yeah,
was
that's
a German, Switzerland
mhm.
orphanage for orphaned and abandoned children.
So it all
Beautiful mission.
makes sense now. At the time I never understood.
Austria. I think
Austria?
Austria based.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it stands for Save Our Souls, right? SOS.
Well, that's what
that's
they
cool.
no. It's actually their language. That's what we would say in Zimbabwe, but
Okay.
it was just called SOS Children's Villages.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So at the time it didn't make sense to me that would become something that was you're manifesting your future right there. I don't know if you
Yeah.
if that's something you were looking forward to doing, because obviously the main reason we're here too is was how you began TranscendStem organization, right? Or part of the reason why you began the TranscendStem.
Yeah, I would say
I wouldn't
so.
say the reason, but
Yeah.
it's the same
Oh, it was the biggest influence for me
yeah.
starting my own organization.
Right.
I've worked on those missions. My heart goes, I
Mhm.
love to serve,
Mhm.
because I know people are pastors and apostles and all.
Mhm.
But I think in our own capacities, we all have our ministries.
Right.
Mhm.
You sing, he sings, you have your vlog, you have
Mm.
your all this that you're doing. That's your ministry.
Okay.
So my ministry is serving. I just love people.
That's your
And
nature.
and those children, those girls that I worked with,
Mhm.
even they're my friends, my sisters. Most of the people, even on social media,
Mhm.
that follow me, that are my friends, are from that. So, and I love them and they love me. They call me sis, and
Mhm.
a whole bunch of them have done great in life, even though
Life,
they were
yeah.
orphaned and
Orphanage,
abandoned.
yeah.
So my
Yeah.
heart, it just touched my heart how
Mhm.
hard they worked and how hard they still work today, and how
Mhm.
much they accomplished. So that's my mission even today, to see if people can
Mhm.
get out of the rut of being in a hard place
Mhm.
Mhm.
and be stabilized and become somebody in life.
Okay. Yeah, and how long were you at SOS? Probably
5 years.
5 years. Yeah.
Mhm.
You were there as a teacher first, or?
Yes, I when I became a high school teacher, I was teaching at a girls' school.
Mhm.
Then I transferred to the school that is
Okay.
an SOS school, and then I became a youth director there. So I had now dual responsibilities. I was a teacher during the day and a director in the evenings for the girls. And in Zimbabwe at the time, you could not have two jobs.
Mm.
You could not have two salaries, because, well, you're taking somebody's job, because it's a very small country and people don't have jobs.
Mhm.
But I did. I was getting two incomes from being a director and being a teacher, but that wasn't the main point. I just loved to serve. And so that's how I got into the non-profit industry.
Okay.
And it was a big, huge influence because I'm very proud of each and every one of the girls that I worked with.
Okay.
That's a good.
Yeah, so that's probably explains, what made you want to start, because, that's your niche, serving.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so I guess it drives us into the next question, next part of the conversation, transcend. Let's talk about transcend.
Transcend was born out of actually a dream.
Mm-hmm.
I think, how they say it's in your subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
It stayed in my subconscious that I
Mm.
love to serve, and those girls and what we did never left me, even
Mhm.
though I went into finance, did other things, was just here. And then in 2015, when we moved to Texas, you just answered the question that I've always asked myself. Like, we stayed in the Washington DMV area for 17 years when I
Right.
came.
Right.
And I never did I do any charity work?
Mm-hmm.
Not from this perspective, but from church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just serving at church and helping
Mhm.
out other people that I knew in the community who would
Yeah.
just come and say, hey, I'm short of $20 and things like
Mm.
that. And then they would testify to say, I was in a hard place when she helped, and I almost forget every time I do something for somebody, but it wasn't coming from I'm a non-profit. Then when I came to Texas, I had this dream, and it said transcend. And I'm like, what does the word transcend mean? So I looked it up. It meant to go above and beyond. So I'm like, oh, and interestingly, I was working at a non-profit now,
Mhm.
and this non-profit does science, technology, engineering, and math.
Mhm.
So I was like, well, I have to do science, technology, engineering, and math,
yeah.
and help the kids. But then it said transcend. So it's like go above and
Yeah.
beyond.
Ma-
So I named it TranscendStem Education. So do science, technology, engineering, and math and beyond.
Mm.
So it's not just
Mhm.
that, but it's beyond that.
Speaking of branding, I think I know where I know where to go for my next
Yeah.
branding adventure. That's a very
Yeah.
that's a strong word. That's a very good word.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
But the original goal was to help young people because, like I said, I don't know where I get technology from. I
Mhm.
think you're familiar with Great Zimbabwe?
Yes.
Oh yes.
I think Great Zimbabwe invented technology.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Story, yeah. The story
I
how
don't
they built
know.
that.
I don't know because I just know, just like you guys, you can ask me. Like when I build a website, I just know.
Mhm.
I never went to school for that, but I figured that the young people, they love technology, but their attention span is very short.
Mm.
So how to integrate that into the nonprofit? I decided to focus on the at-risk youth, those young people who are not quite into the justice system yet, and try to intervene because we are feeding the justice system. It's so
Mhm.
painful.
Mm.
I cry when I think about it. We're feeding it literally. So I was hoping, how do we stop that? So maybe, and I'm researching and I'm thinking, maybe we can catch them meet them where they want, because we try to sit you guys and say, don't do this, don't do that. And that's a conversation for another day. I don't support beating people, punishing people.
Mhm.
I support conversation, dialogue, understanding where the person is coming from and trying to pivot and transmute that energy of being bad into something good. So that was the idea. Transmute the energy of being bad and trying to go to jail or do something,
Right.
and use their phones that they're on anyway, their tablets, the technology they like, to do something they like, but bring it into productivity. So that's how TranscendStem was born. And it came from a young man that I saw grow up and literally turn into the justice system. And as we speak today, he's still incarcerated.
Wow.
So it broke my heart because I saw this kid, beautiful young kid, transform into a kid who got into trouble because I guess I can't say
Yeah,
Why?
it's an interesting space.
Mhm.
Just being incarcerated, just the way everything works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when
So
you
my
really
dream
deep
was just
into
to
it.
intervene one child at a time, one
Mm.
youth at a time.
Mm.
But then as time went on, the demand for what we do evolved, because it was like, because it's almost like God gives you a vision and He gives you the pieces to a puzzle, but He gives them here, there, and you kind of like not piece it together. He does. All my job was to just take the piece that He gives me. So it evolved, and it was no longer youth based only, because it's almost like it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't focus on just the youth, because remember,
Mhm.
there is the root cause.
Mhm.
Also, they have parents, they have aunts, they have sisters, there's a family, there's a nuclear. There's this holistic, so how to merge all that.
Oh, that, yeah.
So Transcend became a family-based program rather
Okay.
than just
Just-
entry skills.
Okay. And it serves, is it just in the DFW area, Dallas area, or?
Well, because I have a school, it's global, but also I have programs all over. I have programs in different countries.
Yeah, one thing I can also say, just to touch base on, you speaking of serving, as part of your purpose, that's one thing I can, you can agree with me too. We've always, even our friends tend to verge towards you in coming for support. That's one thing.
Oh, yeah.
You've always wanted to do is help out, to serve. You're the type of, like you talked about being a mom. You're the type of, person who just mothers everybody who comes in your way. I think you said that when you first started.
I never met a stranger in my life.
You never met a stranger in your life. That's exactly how you worded it. Yeah. So that I can attest for. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
100%. And it's actually unique because I've never. There's a lot of people. As you move around the world, you see a lot of people who will show you love, will act as if they really want to help you and stuff. But it comes, you really see it coming from a genuine place. That sometimes you start, you think, wow, there's people in this world like that. So
Yeah.
So I think I see why you succeed in that area, and why Transcend is such a big, it's going to evolve, which is already evolving into a very big organization, and truly support that. I just support I just support companies like that, or not even company, organizations, movements, and
Yeah.
ministries and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I don't know where we're going, because I live one day at a time, and I try not to, and that's why I always say stress doesn't exist, and people look at me like, because I try to think in blocks, because if I think way ahead, it will cause stress on me,
Yeah.
and it will overwhelm me.
Yeah.
So I don't know where it's going, but as I see it today, we are looking at stabilizing, because then Corona hit, and then the courses, the training, the workforce development that we do to try and put people get out of poverty, get into self-sustenance, and look after themselves. How do you look after yourself? How do you take a course in technology or in engineering if you don't have food, if you don't have clothes, if you don't have a house? So it's stabilization.
Yeah.
Once we put you in a house, we give you food, we give you clothes, we give you referrals streamlined to help you to stabilize. Then we talk about, okay, what are the next steps? Are there skills that we can help you with, so you can now find a job? Or it's not just a job. Not everybody is made to be. I could not work a job now, because I don't want to work a job. People want to be entrepreneurs. So how can we help you start your own business? How can we help you just have a hobby? Like I studied astronomy just out of just fun.
Yeah.
So how can we put you in a place where you want to be, but productively, that you can kind of make an income, so you can take care of yourself and not rely on the government, and rely on your family and give a burden on others. So that's where it is. So stabilization, and then personal, professional, whatever development, and then sustenance, self-sufficiency.
Yeah, that's the other thing too that I think about. I think of is that as I was growing up, I think about this all the time too. You were the type of, especially in our culture, and I think we touched on this a bit back then, or it might be different now. You were, you've always been that mom or that person who makes, who wants their kids to know that the world is endless. You could do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That type of,
Yes.
you could do whatever you want to. Whatever you think or whatever you dream, you can build it. Type of, parent. Whereas, in most cases, it's always everything is linear.
Yeah.
At least in most cultures, like you were saying earlier, you have to either be a teacher, you have to be this, you have to be that. But that's something that's very even me being a lot older, I had to understand that there's a lot of things that are just human nature that I might doubt, but I might have some sense of doubt and stuff. But just talking to somebody like you, or if I call you and you are the backbone, like literally, for all of us, as your children, we always tend to come and ask you for that support. Sometimes it's just so we can hear it from you that it happens. It could have been something like even starting this podcast, so most people will start thinking.
Oh, it's next to my office.
Yes. So it's stuff like that. That's just a support and just even throwing a stigma out there. Us African Americans. It's something that people say. You could even say even Asians or other different cultures. There's a stigma attached to this, and this is one of it where we are. There's some ignorance into just spiritual, the spiritual realm, like how you always try to support, make sure, like you said something about you want to make sure you don't like to talk about stress, you don't want you want people, you're big on manifest and stuff
yes,
like
I'm
that.
big on manifestation because we are creators.
Yeah.
Our words create.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of saying I don't like this, because the universe works according to what, because like the Bible says, God spoke and it happened. He said, let there be light, and there was light. So if you say, let there be darkness, there's going to be darkness.
Right,
or
right.
if you say, I don't like darkness, the universe doesn't understand the negative part. It just hears darkness, and then it will bring darkness. So instead of saying, I don't like darkness, you say, I like light.
Yeah.
It's the same thing,
Yeah.
but say it differently.
Yeah.
So we manifest, we are creators, we have the spirit in us. God is not somewhere in heaven, He's in us, so we are creators. So we create our own world.
Which is the same thing as when you talk about the Bible, how it's translated, like you
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
right there, it's how you consume it.
Yeah, it's true.
So some people say this verse says that.
He doesn't talk a lot. Are we talking just
Who,
the
me?
two of us? Yes.
Oh, I'm just watching greatness happen. So I'm just,
He says greatness.
So
spectating.
you don't even ask questions?
I did.
How many?
There's a bunch of questions.
Oh,
He's-
okay. Because
I
I'm
have-
just wondering if the bigs are domineering you.
No, I'm good. I'm just watching greatness happen. This is your story to tell, so I'm just here to listen to your story.
Okay.
I want to hear, I took
Okay.
some points that
Well,
I'm
if
going to
you
ask.
have questions, you can ask too.
Yeah.
Because if I don't want to answer, I'll tell you. I'm not answering that.
Nah, that's
Yeah, I'm big on manifest and being a creator in vision and I don't call it speaking positive. I call it just speaking what you want to see. Because some people probably want to see negative.
speaking to existence.
Yeah, you speak things into existence, basically. That's what you do. And if you really look at things that happen, it is true. Even the musicians, a lot of times if you hear that, and that breaks my heart, these young people dying every day, when you listen to the lyrics to their music, a lot of times they would have sang their own death. You listen to the lyrics and they'll say exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a coincidence.
Yeah, we've been talking about that, me and Mel.
Yeah.
Music is very...
And that's another thing. In my language, there's no word coincidence. In the Bible, the word coincidence doesn't exist. That's an English word. I don't know where they got it from. So everything happens for a reason, and everything happens. It happens when it happens. So coincidence is almost like you're saying, oh, it was an accident. No, anything that happens was meant to happen. Somebody somewhere, superpower, higher power, somebody, something knew that today at this time I'll be sitting here in this corner. So there's no coincidences.
Right.
So it's like society has taught us so many words, taught us so many ways of living, and it's somewhat hard because we are surrounded by it every day, and then it's also becomes part of our language. You know, I'm big on curse words.
Oh yeah.
And when people do the M word or the F word, and I really think literally, like, does this person know what they're talking about? Is that what they're manifesting? Their M ever? You know, like, but you find that they're like, oh, it's just a word. No, it's not just a word. It's just that's just how my mind is wired. And it's just me.
No, that's true. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's actually the point. Even when it's heavy to say certain words, so it's good. It helps, if I'm around, if I'm around you or anybody. But it carries on because if that word ever comes into my spectrum and I have to say it, even when you're not there, I start looking around. Or is she there?
Where's
So
mom?
so if you're not there, so at least it helped me not use that word.
Yeah.
No, I understand. I agree.
Have you seen the experiment where they actually say curse words to the water?
Yes,
And
and
you see
the,
what it
the
does?
bed
What is
words
this one? You gotta
shatters.
fill me up on this
Yeah.
one. What experiment is this?
So you can get like a glass of water or a bottle of water,
Mhm.
and then if you actually curse to the water, it starts actually shaking. Like
No,
not I'm serious.
I know what I'm doing when I get home tonight.
Well, and there's also an experiment where they
And
put the curse words on a bottle of what something
Mhm.
and put it in the freezer.
Yeah.
And then the other one they put like love,
Yeah.
happiness. And then when they looked after a few days, the one with the bad words had shattered.
Yeah.
The other one had not.
What?
I'm not
It's
saying
crazy.
it
Is it-
exactly as it happened,
Me
but
neither.
there's you should look it up the exact way. But
Yeah.
basically, bottom line, the one with the bad words
Mhm.
got destroyed. The
Mhm.
one with the good words, it survived.
Wow,
It's
so
actually it's
it's
scary.
an experiment.
It's like unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
I gotta try
They
this.
actually, I think they don't even just say bad words, but they just say negative words to
Negative
the
word.
water.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
the word.
actually makes the water
I
different.
gotta try this.
when
Yeah,
you say
because
positive.
water moves according, it's also a scientific phenomenon. You know,
Do I need-
the times we are growing in, that we are living in, are so fast,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and so many bills and so many things happening. It's different from when I was growing up at home. We had time to be creative. We had time to sit outside and listen to the dove cawing. They
Mhm.
still do it today. The atmosphere you saw when we went to Hawaii.
Mhm.
It's so calm. It's beautiful. You actually get to see the sun rise. The sun here, you don't even know if the sun exists. So things just move, and people don't even realize what they're doing to their own lives.
You don't even realize how fast life
Yeah.
is until you
Yeah,
go
yeah.
somewhere.
So people
where
take
everything,
everything casually.
Mm.
The girls don't mind being called the B word. I don't want to be called the B word because look at the definition of the B word. And I'm singing this B. I don't want that.
Yeah, musically.
Because growing up, I actually know what a bee is. It's a female dog. That every other dog does that female dog. So why would anybody want to be called that? So, but you see that a lot of people tolerate it, and then a lot of young people use it, and then they use it casually, and then they're like, oh no, it's not serious. Everybody uses it.
Right.
But I always remind you guys that you're not everybody. You have your own DNA. That's why you have your own fingerprints. So when I see 100 people going there, 99 people going to the right, guess what? I'm the only one going to the left. And it's very uncomfortable. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it's and by the left, we're not talking about politics,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just joking.
I don't know that one.
Yeah. No, that's. I agree with you. I agree with you on that. It's just
Society and
society
the times
is-
we're growing in.
Yeah.
That's what I pride in with Marlon. And even you guys, I always, you the bigs, and I call them the kids, because he grew up, he has excellent friends who grew up in very different environments. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he hasn't done that ever. But almost all his friends smoke, drink, and he's around them the whole time. So he doesn't allow that to influence him. Instead, he influences them. So whenever you are at a place and you're being influenced or you're the smartest in the room, run. Because you have to be with people that uplift you, not people who pull you down. But does that mean that you have to be cocky and not hang out around people? No. It just means that you have to be strong enough to be the one helping others. Now, being good and bad, that's a personal opinion, because it depends. You know what you know.
Yeah.
If I grew up around selling drugs, that's what I know. So to me, that's what's good.
Yeah.
So that's another, controversial thing. But yeah, it's like you guys, we are human, we err, but I'm proud of all three of you because you influence those around you. And I've seen that happen a lot. You started your podcast. I've seen quite a few of your friends now running for their mics. He started his vlog. I've seen a lot of friends. He has his own restaurant. I've seen a lot of friends trying to do the same.
Food trucks.
Yes. And I've seen Mish, his music, and even you, his brothers, you have your own music. So that makes me a very grateful mom for having such beautiful kids, and all the other kids in the world that some were 65, 85, that I baby through TranscendStem or my other organizations. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and of course we appreciate you being a great mom too. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, we can never. It's such a big part to be a mom.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hard.
You can overfeel.
The
You can overfeel with
huge shoes to fill in, especially being a single mom. But then, like you said, so sometimes we allow society to raise our kids, and I refused to do that, and I still refuse now. You are like a century years old. I always say you're almost the same age as me, because I had you when we're close in age.
Yeah, so we have the same conversations.
And sometimes everybody will go, Marlon will go eat out, and it's just you and me, and Mitch is out eating. But to me, in my eyes, you're still my baby. Mitch is still my baby. He's still my baby.
Mom is always gonna be a mom.
Yes.
Yeah. And they say, you don't raise kids, cows, you raise cows.
Yeah. That's true.
But I forgot the actual saying, but no, that's very true. Life is interesting.
Yeah.
Life is very it's very delicate. Such is life. That's why and it's like life also robs you of your wisdom. You learn as you grow. You learn certain things as you grow. But there's some people there's a lot of things he does at his age that I know for a fact I wasn't. I could not think like that at that age. And it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting to when you sit back and think about it. And you beat yourself out sometimes. And say, don't do this, don't do that. But when you sit down and think about it, and wait. Like you say, he doesn't drink. Yeah, I'm talking about the same topic. How you say he doesn't drink. He doesn't. To me, at this age, right here, you gotta remember, when
because now you don't drink, you don't smoke. So it's
especially when you're between the way I look at the golden years. I call them the golden years, 15 to 25. That's when you can really, go crazy. That's when you're at your peak.
Maybe his peak is gonna be in his 90s.
Exactly. So even I can tell you speaking of even coming to the United States. I did not to blame it on the country, but I was a late boomer in that area. I didn't experiment with alcohol or anything like that until I was late, older in years. So it's almost like it was new to me, but I fell for it.
I actually never thought about it. 16,
I was young, 17,
18,
I never even just wanted to try to drink it, but somewhere along the lines I was like, I just got
but still everybody has his own path, and I always use that as an example. I don't know why, but everybody has his own path, and it's never too late to do different. I'm not gonna call it right or wrong, because again, it's a perception. But it's never too late.
Yeah.
I've watched videos where a 72-year-old has gone to the Olympics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's never too late
Yeah.
to do something different.
Mhm.
And it's never a good thing to compare yourself to the other.
Yeah.
Because you have your own path. Mitch has his own path. He has
Mhm.
his own path. I have my own path.
Right.
And so that's why I talked about you have your own DNA. That's why you have unique. You are unique. You are you. You unique. Because you have your own fingerprints. No two people in the world have the same fingerprints. So it's yours for you.
Yeah.
So if we try to go into somebody's vortex, then that's where things start getting all crazy.
Yeah.
Because we are not going into a place of our own.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
beautiful when you do your own thing that you like. It
Yeah.
comes naturally too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pick up a new passion every day.
Yeah. And it's good. It's a good thing.
Tomorrow,
I'll
you'll
be
be
a track star, on a videographer, I'll be music.
And then there's the one wheeler.
The
What
one.
do you
Oh, the
call
one
it?
wheel. Oh, that's
One
one
wheel.
Wow, that's
Oh,
another
yeah.
child. Yeah, speaking of one wheel, I gotta take my one wheel back too. So that's, you just reminded me. They called me the other day. I mean, they responded to me after 5 weeks.
What they say?
They say I'm gonna send it to my. I'm transferring your call to my engineer, but because what I did is, I was writing it right, and then there's a lot of people, because it's such a new product. With every product,
Yeah.
there's gonna be, they're still working their
Yeah.
kinks and stuff. So I was actually excited because with mine everything was perfect, but eventually when I was writing, I just started hearing this click sound
Yeah.
from the wheel. It writes fine, perfect,
Yeah.
but I was just concerned that something might happen, and
Yeah.
and I didn't want it to break or anything like that, or to void the warranty. I wanted to do
Yeah.
it while I still have the warranty.
Mhm.
So I reached out to them. I held it for a little bit, but
Yeah.
then eventually I just sent a message to their support team, and they responded. I also said, hey, also by the way, it hits up a little bit. I say I hear a click sound, and for some reason the wheel hits up a little bit. My other one doesn't do that, and the hitting up thing, I just saw it going over on Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook groups. I just want to make sure everything is covered under warranty,
Yeah.
so I don't have to worry about it. And he goes, I'm gonna transfer it to my engineer, and for the heating up issue, just make sure you write it in a different mode if you're gonna write it for a prolonged time or something like that. I'm like,
What?
what kind of support? Okay, just write it like this. So, but I understand. Like with that, we talk about this every
Yeah.
time with every company. When you go into these Facebook groups, everybody's angry,
Yeah.
irritated. But I understand
Yeah.
you're running a company.
And,
We
yeah.
all run
And I don't blame
businesses.
them.
So it's tough,
It's
it's hard,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Even
For a
a
lot of
non-profit,
people, yeah.
running your non-profit, I can only imagine, and
There is so much
So
pain
much,
out
and-
of there.
and
People
yeah.
going through.
you have to do
I
it all
am so
tabs.
blessed to be able to have
Yeah.
the kind of tenacity, the
Yeah.
kind of resilience you
Mhm.
guys we have,
Yeah,
because we do a lot.
yeah,
They've been running the store. We came from the
Mhm.
store. We are here now. I'm probably gonna do some non-profit
Yeah.
things. My phone is probably blowing right now. It's
oh
on-
yeah,
and by the time I look up, it's midnight, and I wake up at 2 a.m.
Right.
every single day. And
Mhm.
people say, "How do you do that?"
Mhm.
And I'm still in
Yeah.
a good mood. I can still send
Yeah.
goofy videos to you
Yeah, I was
guys.
gonna say too. That's one other thing too. Speaking of, your purpose here in the world too. One thing I picked up on too. You make habit of sending a positive message every morning, or a positive video, something that's a powerful message, or some a quote or something that's gonna make uplift
Yeah.
different people.
Mhm.
Just to reassure people that
It's a beautiful
life is
day.
beautiful, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful day and stuff like that. So
I
you
went
know,
to
you know,
bed. I
yeah.
woke up just being grateful
So
for that is enough.
So
Yeah.
Mhm.
that energy, it all plays a part. It all makes
Mhm.
sense.
And it
in everything you do.
manifests.
It manifests. Yeah.
Because if you start your day happy,
Mhm.
your day will be. Have you ever noticed that if you're running late that day, everything will go wrong?
Yeah.
If you wake up in the morning and you're in a bad mood and you're like, oh my gosh, your coffee will spill while you're wiping the coffee, your dog is going to eat your nuts, and while you're working with the dog, something is going to start beeping, and then you get into your car and you're cussing and blowing your horn at people. Then the next thing, there's an accident and you just stay stuck. And you'll be like,
Yeah.
we go to work, you get to work, like it's never ending. Do you know that that's intentional?
Yeah.
You are causing that.
Yeah.
And people come back at me and say, no, how come? And I always say, even if somebody slaps you, they come from the blue and they slap you, it's your fault. How can it be? Because you attracted that. But if you wake up and you tell, does it mean that things are not going to go wrong? Definitely they are. But you actually combat a lot of things by putting out that positive energy, because the universe goes to party trying to bring that positivity, because they're like, oh, she wants light, and a lot of light, lots of light, lots of light, lots of love, lots of happiness. If you say, oh, she wants bad stuff, I'm going to cause an accident, I'm going to cause, and things that, just happening. So that's the only reason I do that, because it works for me. I've noticed it works for me. I'll be going through a lot. Sometimes you guys have no clue what I'll be going through. If my phone starts ringing at 2 or 3 in the morning because of the time difference, and there's a problem here, there's a problem here, the driver did this and this happened, and if I focus on that, I could not function the next minute. He knows Marlon works side by side with me for the most part. My phone rings off the chain, and almost every time it's some issue that has to be resolved. So if I don't bring that positive energy to myself, it's almost like when you're on a flight, the air people tell you, put an oxygen mask on yourself first before you put it on your baby. Because if you try to help the baby, you yourself is going to die, and the baby is going to be without a parent, and you won't have enough power to help them. So you put your own oxygen mask, then you're able to help your baby. So that's my mask. I put the breastplate of happiness, peace, joy, love, and no matter how it's a task. It's like I tried not to use words like difficult. It's a challenge. But after you do it for a while, it comes naturally. So I do that for myself too. I bring that positivity to myself. I'm laughing. The queen is risen. Oh my gosh. Have a fabulous day, you guys. And then I put those goofy videos. And then one thing that I do a lot, I laugh by myself. I just start laughing. And you know that everything is contagious. If you walk into this room and you're like, everybody's going to be like, it's a reflex. If I walk in and I'm laughing, most of the time people will be like, what are you laughing at? Huh? What's funny? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? And they start laughing. And you say, why are you laughing? Why are you and you start laughing. And you know what? I won't have any wrinkles. No wrinkles. You guys, are you watching your time? Because I'll talk and talk and talk.
Yeah, I don't even know how much time.
Are you
hour 30?
Okay, we're good.
How many hours do we have?
Good.
Okay.
So what's next for Transcend?
Like I said, my steps are directed. I can see a shift. That's all I keep hearing now. There's a shift coming.
Okay.
There's a shift, and there's another evolving going on. So there's a shift. It's evolving. There's like a pivot.
Okay.
It's pivoting where I'm not sure, but it's a good thing.
Okay.
Because I keep hearing there's a new thing coming. God is a new thing. Look, it springs forward. There's a new thing. What new thing? I'm not sure. So I get the puzzle pieces as they come, but the only thing I know is it's exciting. It's the same kind of thing that I do, but at a very higher level. Why I'm saying that is the challenges that we've met, he knows, Marlon, because we've worked together with Lauren and Marlon. And you guys, Mitch and Mel, I don't know why I gave you guys these names, because I don't know who Mel is, who Mitch is, who Marlon is, but London, Mel and Mitch, right?
Yeah.
So you've all worked with me, and it's not been a smooth ride. We've had our challenges, but we've made a lot more impact than I can even imagine. We've looked back, we looked at the things we did, we're like, did we do that? Steve Elko, did I do that? Do you know who Steve Elko? Echo?
Yeah.
Steve, what's his name?
Steve Urkel?
Yeah.
Did I do that? Did we do that? We impacted so many lives. We had goals. We did 300% of that. We gave away over $1.6 million worth of stuff
Yeah.
in a collaboration with corporations
Mhm.
like Walmart, like
Mhm.
Amazon, like Bed Bath and Beyond, and we've had a lot of support, and we've helped a lot of community people. We've put a lot of homeless people into apartments, and this is the scariest part when I look back.
Mhm.
Each and every apartment that we've put a person, I've personally guaranteed.
That's
I've
true.
gone there and I've said, if this person doesn't pay,
Mhm.
I'm putting my name on it.
Yep.
Mhm.
I look back, I'm like, that was faith.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully,
Mhm.
nothing
Nothing's
happened.
happened.
Because if somebody didn't pay, that means I would have to pay. And he knows I'm not on a paycheck. All I do is the programs.
Mhm.
So it was by faith that we were able to do the impact, to make the impact we've made so far. It's coming from a place of humility and gratefulness.
Mhm.
What's coming next is also, again, a leap of faith. We don't know what it is.
Mhm.
We literally have seen storms
Mhm.
that have stood us on the street, like literally.
Mhm.
One of our colleagues
Mhm.
is going to deliver something, and a storm really stops a car. That's how our lives have been in the past.
And that's bigger than a paycheck too. I
Of
gotta
course,
say.
Mhm.
and that gratification
Yeah.
when you look back and you've put a smile on somebody's face.
Mhm.
And then we get letters in the mail, handwritten, a 65-year-old woman saying, thank you. You see somebody crying and hugging you. And this is, the world doesn't know. We are not even that good. We go on social media, and sometimes I
Mhm.
try to flaunt my little, but I don't think that we put even 50%, even
Yeah.
40%
Mhm.
of the things we do, because I guess we are not as good at tooting our own horns.
Mhm.
We would be good if we got somebody to help us with that, because that would help bring in the income that we need to make even more impact. But we've been blessed. We've
Yeah.
been grateful. We still have had a lot of help and a lot of faith.
Yeah, I mean, I can even speak on the events. If anybody's in the DFW area, those events, man, just it makes a big difference helping other. You know, whenever you go to do some charity events,
Mhm.
it makes you, you know, you almost feels like you're doing God's job. You know,
Yeah.
helping, serving.
We take so
And
much
we take
for granted.
granted and,
Just putting,
mhm.
a plate of a cereal, a bowl of cereal on
Yeah.
somebody's
Right,
table.
right.
We don't even know how impactful
How
it is.
impactful
Yeah.
is it?
So people look at me because I'm kind of like a hoarder. I hoard things.
Mm.
But I'm coming from a place of, this shoe, I don't like it anymore, but somebody could use it. So I end up keeping things because I'm thinking one day I'll give it to somebody.
Mm.
I just have to get better at getting it out there sometimes. But yeah, it's been a journey, and we are now going to an even bigger journey.
Mhm.
My biggest work, our biggest work as an organization, because it couldn't have happened without you guys, every one of you, has been and is in the US, and I'll forever be thankful for the United States of America,
Mm.
because I know what I know and did what I did due to the flexibility, the opportunities, the availability of resources in the US. So
Yeah.
that's why my biggest impact is in the US.
Right.
And also the thing is also other countries that I work with, other people that I work with, they don't need as much. If I send $100 to Tanzania,
Mhm.
the impact is way bigger. If I give somebody here $100, they can't even pay their water bill.
Mm.
So that's the difference too. But then the US is where we are for the most part, and we impact everybody else because, like, our school is online. Our own, we help orphanages, we help widows, we help schools. We've helped people start by buying 50 chickens. We send them $100. They bought 50 chickens. They hatched.
Don't you ever?
They did 100 chickens, then 300 chickens, and 600 chickens, and they're self-procreating and just saying, calling me, CEO, this is what we're doing. CEO, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Don't you have a farm? You have a chick. I don't know, is it a farm or you have an organization?
It's an organization
in Africa
called,
too.
We have several.
You
We
mentioned
have
chicken.
several areas that we have organized.
Okay, you mentioned chicken, so I thought about that.
Yes,
So,
we
yeah.
have an organization called Sabela Trust,
Sabella Trust,
which means answer to a call.
Uh-huh.
You know, like the Israelites with
Yeah.
the shofar.
Mhm.
Because all the names that I have to hear them.
Mhm.
So the shofar
Mhm.
in the Bible
Mhm.
is when they would go, ooh.
Mhm.
That was how people would be called to come if something was urgent, and they would come. So that call came and we answered the call. So we help people of the world with their things. There's just a call that just came literally yesterday, and today I just got a call for an orphanage in some place.
Okay.
And that's another thing that I don't know how that's gonna play out, because there I'll be working with like other officials, but my work is in the United States primarily, and that shift and the pivot is happening in the United States. But I know that as it happens, it also impacts other people, because when I help them, some people just, they give back to wherever they want to give back within the US, and some decide to go elsewhere. So, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So there's Sabella Trust, there's TranscendStem, and I almost said workforce development.
No.
TranscendStem is what does stabilization,
Okay.
workforce development, and employment, entrepreneurship, partnerships, which is like self-sufficiency.
Okay.
So it is like a three-pronged table. When you have three legs, it's the strongest
Strongest
structure.
one, yep.
You have stabilized, and then you have to teach skills. A very short period of time, they can learn a skill, master it, and go and stabilize themselves. Because the times we're living in right now, people don't have 4 or 5 years to go to college. There are people who are meant for that, and they can afford the time.
Yeah.
But there are people who is a single mom, doesn't have a job, is on the street, living in their car, and they have to have a job like yesterday, but they don't have the skill. They just did a GED, or they don't have a GED.
Yeah.
So we help them stabilize, get the certification, get a job, or start a company themselves.
Which is true for the time that we're living in now as well, because you almost have to be self-sufficient. If you can get a job, there's a lot of people who are starting to do their own thing or start businesses, things that most people were ignorant to. They can actually start taking advantage of that now, thanks of course to
COVID.
There you go. So that helped people really sit back and find out their value. We talked about this on our last call.
We were talking about that.
Oh yeah, it made people think, because you can only look at things as either a glass half full or half empty.
Yeah.
And I always try to keep, because when people hear me saying there's no COVID, they think I'm saying there's no COVID. I'm speaking it into existence.
Yeah, which is
manifest. And then also the thing is also if you hear every time, even when the president is talking, the United States is run pretty much by small businesses, and somebody gotta help those people. There are people who don't even know how to start their own company. How do you even register a company? How do you start a non-profit? What documentation do you need? How do you get a tax ID? Things that we think are simple. I hire people coming from college, from high school. They don't know how to use the copier. They don't know how to use the scanner. They don't know how to use Excel. So those are the little gaps that we fill in with our programs, and then you get somebody who is the skills that the employer, because our courses are industry approved, so the employer is looking for a skill. He doesn't have time to be training while paying. We do that for them, and then they get somebody who is up and running, and that drives the economy. The small businesses drive the economy. The employee drives the economy. The employer. So we are holistic in our approach.
Yeah, that's true. And those are very important roles too.
And grandpa and grandma run the economy in their own ways.
Of course. Yeah. That's where it starts
They
from.
have the wisdom.
Yeah, that's exactly where it starts from. You need to visit grandma every now and then.
And she
That's
dances.
exactly.
Oh
yeah. That's hopefully we have grandma, and I know with God grace we have grandma on the show one day.
We'll go there and interview her in South Africa.
So we're gonna have a show in Muscle Bay, one day. For for those listening, that would be special, very special. Just like today's, conversation was a special conversation for us too. There'll be many of these too. This will be more in chapters.
Yeah, chapters.
Because that's the entire podcast for the entirety of all the episodes. We can't really fill in the buckets with all the stuff that mom does.
Do you notice that his favorite word is buckets?
Yeah, he's been
Wow.
saying buckets a lot
he's wearing
today.
a bucket hat.
No, earlier I said pot.
He said pot?
Yeah.
No, he said
Like a
you
pot.
said you're a woman of many buckets.
Okay, maybe that's true. Because I do like hats too, so so I think of buckets
And the bucket
every time I
hat
think
you're
about.
wearing. Is it
Yeah.
called a
anything.
bucket hat?
No, this one is
That's
it's a cap.
yeah, it's a cap.
Oh.
A fitted cap.
A jean fitted cap.
Oh.
It's not a dad hat. I like the dad hats.
Yeah,
Like
he likes the dad
we're
hat.
going back in time. People are wearing dad hats.
Oh,
like
now
this,
now you're speaking language I don't even understand. I don't even know what it is.
Trucker's hat.
Trucker's hat.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, yes, definitely. So if anybody's in TranscendStem, which is I have to mention too, is one of our biggest sponsors for this podcast.
Yeah.
They play a big role in making all this happen. So definitely, if we have an event, anybody, please come in Dallas, come and help and volunteer or just
We
help.
actually have an event on June 11th where we'll be giving away a lot of items to the community in Box Springs.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's in collaboration with the city of Box Springs and the Chamber of Commerce
Yeah.
and my good friend and president of the chamber there. And him and the city, they have a big, huge event. If you go on our Facebook, it's going to be there, and we're going to be putting it on Eventbrite.
Okay.
And those who know us, they know that we'll give away a bunch of fryers, microwaves. And this time we're also giving away dryers. Brand new Samsung dryers worth about $648 each.
Okay. It's
And
amazing.
then we also have a lot of stuff that we'll be giving away that day. All we ask is when we're there, people put us on their Amazon Smile and like us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, on Instagram.
All
Because
the
we
social
don't-
networks.
Also, because we don't do a lot of that. Like I said, we don't know how to do that. And to get people to give back. Somebody emailed me, I didn't even know. They said, I was trying to donate and your donate button is down. And we're like, we were very appreciative of that. Them not telling us. And so that's what we ask in return. But our goal is to help the community and to help people grow and to hopefully support people at this very difficult time people are going through mentally, psychologically,
Inflation as
physically.
inflation.
Yeah.
Inflation
is too.
Now there's wars everywhere. Now there's things going on, and just people focus on manifest and positivity. And you write your own vision. What you visualize, tell a vision. That's why television. You watch all those people on TV. Boom, boom. He grew up, Marlon. He loves games, but I never allowed him to play games where people are shooting each other because you're writing it in your subconscious. So when people watch those things, and so those are the little things that we try and help people to learn to
Try to
say
make
your
a better
subconscious
world.
is very strong, very powerful.
Right. Okay. Well, this could go on and on and on.
Oh,
and on.
yeah. Mom talks,
This is
male
just the very
talks.
part. This is the very first part of so many conversations we'll have. We have you. You probably be our main guest here. To just teach
recurring
the world.
guest.
This was more. Yeah, this was more of an introduction.
Yeah.
To the maker,
The maker, the creator.
the creator. You know.
Well, we have a class called blogging, not vlogging, right?
Blogging.
Blogging and
Podcast.
podcasts on TranscendStem at www.transcendstem.org under careers. In that course, it's under fundamentals.
Yeah, it's a fundamental course,
It's a
yeah.
fundamental course. It's a 6-week course, but it's a 24-hour course.
Yeah.
We open it for 6 weeks.
Okay.
It can be self-paced, or you can take it with an instructor. But most people can finish it in like 8 hours. People finish it in like 3 hours if they focus on it, because it's not a hard class, but it teaches you all the nuances. So this is part of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where in collaboration we're not coming in more as a sponsor, but more as a collaborator with you guys.
Mm.
That way, those people who would like to learn that class, maybe they can come here and use this space
Okay.
to practice and
Mhm.
to do what they need to do, and then we will pay for them
Okay.
if they meet certain criteria.
Mhm.
So we'll pay you guys because we know you pay for the space.
Mhm.
We know you have all these overheads, so we will help you. Bring in the funders and
Mhm.
bring in the. We usually try and help the people who are low income, people who are hard trodden, who cannot afford to do these things, but they have the passion to do it.
Mhm.
So we'll do a little eligibility test, or just trust that they are at a hard place where they cannot pay for something.
Mhm.
Then we'll try and match them with a funder. Some of our programs are restricted, so we have to do the full-blown, are you eligible?
Mhm.
Mhm.
What income? What do you do? And we have like 8 forms that we have them complete.
Mhm.
But then some of them, like if we are working with the bank will just say, okay, as long as you can find out that this person is coming from an area that's economically disadvantaged, or they can attest to it, we allow them to come. They take their blogging class here and podcast class here, use your equipment, and we pay you guys for the pricing that you have, the pricing level that you have.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
and I actually should have brought
Pamphlet.
it's in here, but I didn't bring it forward so I can show it on the camera.
Mhm.
It's on the table somewhere. We printed it the other day.
Yeah, we did.
So you can always show it in the future.
Mhm.
But that's one way and that's what my heart goes out to when young people do things like this. Oh, I go to party
Mhm.
Yeah.
because I want you to succeed. So that's my goal for you guys. If I can help in any way to bring the funding that you need so you can go to the next level.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. And like I said, you could be anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you, coming in to have a conversation with us. And you have anything for this was, like I said, it's part 1. That's why we didn't finish it right now.
I
So
don't
it's
want to
almost
ask I don't want to ask my question until you come back. We'll ask you when you come back.
Oh, so I
we need more of a
curious for the next
documentary.
Yeah,
3
for the documentary
to be continued.
to be
It's-
continued.
Yeah, because you see how he went. You have a very, the word beautiful is actually underlies it story, but you have a very impeccable story.
Mhm.
Oh, I love it when you
and,
make up your own words, and that always happens.
Yeah, so we almost left it at halftime. There's a lot that you have
there's a lot
right now. A lot, there's other things that we'll get into, in other days, and we just had to make sure we bring you on the show, so we could just highlight, who you are, especially like I said, Transcend being our main sponsor.
Yeah.
We're too obliged by that.
Yeah.
So, but with that said, this is it.
To be continued.
Such is life.
Such is life.
Always remember, it's always better to accept reality or any accidental misfortune. Is life is always unpredictable, and the results will always not always in our hands.
Okay.
With that, such
Such
is
is
life.
life.